Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Pink Panther Strikes Again. And this movie is directed by Blake Edwards, and it came out in 1976, starring Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau. And I really enjoyed this movie, and this one I believe I've seen the most out of all the Pink Panther movies, or at least the ones with Peter Sellers in them. I thought this movie was very funny, very enjoyable, and it was probably my favorite one since A Shot in the Dark. The overall experience of this movie was just really enjoyable. I really love the tone of this movie, and this movie does kind of feel a bit more like a Bond movie than a Pink Panther movie because of how things are presented. It's like this big evil guy who has like a giant castle and has this great big plan to destroy the world, basically. And that's basically what's going on in this movie. It didn't really drag the movie down, but it was kind of somewhat of a departure from what I'm kind of used to from this franchise at this point, and it felt a much bigger scale than the previous ones. Not in a bad way, it's just a thing, and I also enjoyed the music in this movie. That's something I didn't really mention, is something outside of the Pink Panther score. I really liked the music at points. I felt as though it complemented the scenes, although I will say that the music was overused at points, and I felt that could have been easily avoided. But going back to my positives, the comedy in this movie was very funny, and the characters are very likable and memorable and fun to watch. And I love how the basic premise of the movie is kill Clouseau because I just can't stand him, and compared to Clouseau, this weapon that we have is basically a water pistol. It's literally a line in the movie, and I just think that's great. And the performances were pretty great in this movie, especially Peter Sellers. I thought he did a great job in this film. It was very fun to watch, very entertaining, had a great understanding of the character, and just overall worked very well in this film. And this movie also has some slow motion in it, and it was pretty funny whenever it was used. And the effects in this movie, when they're practical, looked pretty good, but there were some effects that were done in a computer that I just felt could have been much better. They just didn't feel like they were a part of the environment, and it just looked dated as a result. And there were some funny side characters, like everyone in the US government is just watching a football game, and after we get to the big evil plan, just explicitly told to everyone, they're all just wanting to know who won the game, and that was pretty funny. And the pacing for this movie I thought was pretty quick. This movie is an hour and 45 minutes long, doesn't waste any time, just flies by for me, and I really liked it. And there were a couple moments where this movie did kind of remind me of Archer, that TV show, and I thought it was kind of fun to pick up on that. And maybe it's not like directly from this movie, but it did feel reminiscent for sure. And the only other complaint that I have with this movie is that there are some comedic gags that went a little too far, in the sense that, like, yeah, they're embracing the cartoonish tone of the movie, but going a little too cartoony to the point where I don't exactly feel as though it's grounded in reality. Because in the previous ones, sure, you have to suspend some disbelief for sure, but there comes a point where it's just asking too much, I feel. And this movie does reuse gags that were in the previous movies, like Clouseau saying a word and the other person he's talking to doesn't understand him, and they're like, "You mean this?" And he's like, "Yes, that's what I said, you idiot." Like, that's always fun, and they do use that joke a few times. And I do feel as though this one might be the most rewatchable Pink Panther movie for me personally, just not only for nostalgia purposes, because I've seen it the most out of any Pink Panther movie, but also I feel as though there's so many scenes that anyone would love to revisit and come back to, and I feel as though this movie just has a lot of great scenes to come back to, and I really valued the experience of this movie, so definitely check this movie out whenever you get the chance. I think it's hilarious and fun, and sells you exactly what you would want from a Pink Panther movie, and it's my favorite one since A Shot in the Dark. So with all that being said, I'm going to give The Pink Panther Strikes Again, a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The Pink Panther Strikes Again, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for 51st Dates. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.